everyone, and welcome once again. I'm back. Unfortunately for some people, I'm back. Fortunately for the other people, I'm back. I am JT, aka the Master, and this is, you see in the background, For No Reason, Fantasy Football, where we talk about fantasy football, 365 days a year, 366 on leap year. And I think this year was leap year. So we're talking about 366 days. All right. You only see me on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I live and breathe to my ad nauseum, to my lovely wife that knows that what only thing I watch, so mostly what I watch, the majority of what I watch, is the subject of football, whether it's on ESPN, YouTube, or the NFL Network. And the NFL Network's got a big shakeup. Things are steadily changing. They're firing people. They're canceling shows out, bringing new shows in. There's a lot of things going on in the NFL, and it's happening every day of the year, and including in fantasy. And that's what we're going to be talking about. I said the last time I was on a show, which was yesterday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which was on Fantasy Sports and Politics, which was hosted by my today co-host, Mr. FSP. I'll bring him in a short time. And people, let me tell you, we talk about different things on Saturday, but this is exclusive subject matter, fantasy football. And today, finally today, I had talked about this a few weeks ago, and now I'm finally getting around to it. And next week, we're going to talk about 5 rounds. This is the 5th month, 5 rounds. I'm a little behind it, and I'm trying to catch up. 5 rounds, fantasy football mock draft. 5 rounds, okay? That's going to be a lot. Going to cause a lot of controversy because number 1 and 2 have changed, in my opinion, and I think the first round, in my opinion, has changed. But we'll talk about that next week. We're going to be talking about this week, which I said yesterday on the FSP show, again, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday afternoon, 10 a.m. on a Pacific time, about the newly drafted players that are coming into the league and their fantasy relevance, and vets, whether they're wide receivers or running backs, moving to new teams and how relevant I think they're going to be, or it would be a detriment to their fantasy value. And I have my esteemed co-host, Mr. FSP. You see his emoji there. Going to give his opinion. And I guarantee we don't agree. We're 2 Tauruses, one born earlier in the month and one born later in the month, that butt heads. I tell you that right now. We butt heads. It is what it is. We have strong opinions, and we express those strong opinions, maybe not to the liking of each other, but we give our opinion, which is fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I respect a different opinion. It is the opinion, you know. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Can't get everything right. Only one that got everything right was the man several hundred years ago, 1,000 years ago, whatever, that is no longer on this earth, but is a perfect person. That's the only one that I can think that gets everything right for a reason, whether you agree with the reason or not. All right, and I know I'm ranting on a little bit. That's fine. It's a show that I express my opinion, and on this one, I welcome anybody to express their opinion because it's that way. It's that way. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. So, with that being said, let me bring in my esteemed emoji person, Mr. FSP. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. Such a State of the Union address you just made. I am interested in one thing you did. Well, a couple things you said, but the one thing that piques my curiosity is you mentioned NFL Network is firing people, hiring people, and canceling shows. Uh, I haven't been keeping up on that. Can you shed a little light on that before you get into these fantasy players?
Well, the NFL Network has gotten rid of Good Morning Football and got
No, no, no. It's coming back. It's just
wait a minute,
going
wait,
to California, right?
it's going to wait a minute. Just let me finish.
Okay,
Okay,
because when you said that, I'm like, nah.
they
But go
got
ahead.
rid of. Let me put it. Let me expound on this more. They got rid of Good Morning Football in its present form.
Yes.
Okay, I'll say it like that. They're due to bring it back, some form of Good Morning Football, if I'm not mistaken. I just read it yesterday on Fox, and they
On
also
Fox.
yes, they also canceled and with the last show on Friday was Total Access. There's no more Total Access. So
What?
there's no more Total Access. Yes. So
Damn.
all those people on Total Access, I don't know where they'll be going because starting next week, it's called The Insiders, the show that's going to take the place of Total Access. And I think it's going to be a new cast of hosts, and I don't know who else is going to be included on that show. And plus the fact, before they got in between Good Morning Football change and Total Access, they got rid of some on-air personalities.
Such as
Uh, oh my God, why can't I think of this guy's name? Um, uh, Andrew
was
Andrew Siciliano is one of them.
what?
Yes. Is it Tom Pelissero or
Yeah, Tom Pelissero.
yes? Okay, to name a few. Okay, and what is it? Uh, she was on the sideline. Is it blonde? She was on the sidelines. I can't think of her name. They got rid of her. Okay,
Wait a
they
minute. They didn't have any sideline reporters.
sure they did. Absolutely did.
They had okay. They had day game day analysts like the tall one from Canada. I forget her name.
No, she's still there. I think it's Dana Andrews. Is that what I'm thinking?
Something like that. Something like that.
I think that she's no longer with the network in the capacity she's in. So there's three personalities that a lot of people are familiar with that are no longer going to be on the network.
So the only side one that I know of that continues to do sideline reporting is Jamie Ertl, who was on Good Morning Football, but she just had a baby and will be gone for like 9 months. And then
Well,
they got the one from Dallas. She reports on the Cowboys, and I saw when they did a brief episode uh just before the draft. She was they had the graphic up for her in Jimmy Erdahl's place. Um, I didn't see the Good Morning Football the day after the draft the schedule release. I
no, there's no more Good Morning Football right now.
no, I know they did two special shows. They did one the day before the draft, and then they did one the day after the schedule release.
And and the cast of Good Morning Football, all of them may not be on what's going to be the new uh, show in California.
And
Don't
it's going to be on Fox.
I saw some. I have to look it up, but I saw something and it said that a version of Good Morning Football on Fox, but I could be wrong.
I mean,
But
I don't get that. Why
well,
move off of your own platform
let me
to go
put
to
it this way.
somewhere else? So.
Let me put it this way, and I caught one of the more than one time the NFL Network and ESPN and talks emerging.
Really?
Yes, the
But
NFL Network and the ESPN is in talks in merging with ESPN taking over the NFL Network, if I'm not mistaken. I'm
But why
just
put
saying.
it on Fox? Because
Well,
still, you
well,
still.
it's part of the NFL. So all these, when it comes to sports and NFL, all these networks are intertwined.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
all these
mean,
networks are intertwined.
like
So
I know they're moving. They have a partnership with Netflix now,
yes, I was about to say
whereas
that.
Netflix, along with Amazon, are going to carry their special like day events, playoff games, and Christmas, Thanksgiving,
Yep.
and excuse me, uh, a few um like 1 p.m. games,
Yep.
because they want to cater to the viewers in Europe and around the world that are like either a day or in prime time when we're at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hmm.
It's like the other countries' uh, prime time slots. So I did know about that when they were talking about the schedule, but I also knew that Good Morning Football was getting changed. Uh, Peter Schrager, I know he moved out to L.A. Because he's a Rams reporter as well and a contributor on Fox. Um, I know that Jason McCourty was considering it. I don't know if he was or was not.
That's why I said that. It's good. Good Morning Football. You don't know what the original, not the original, but the last cast is going to move to
Yeah,
California. So you don't know that yet. It's going to be a whole new show. Quite naturally, it's going to be in LA versus being in New York, and it's going. You don't know what the format's going to be. You don't know if they're going to keep it just move the geography from New York to the West Coast. You don't know if it's going to be a totally whole new set and totally whole new atmosphere with a totally new cast or whatever. So uh, it's there's
wow.
a lot of changes that are taking place at the NFL Network.
Yeah, I didn't know
Personal,
about Total Access going away. I
yes,
like Total Access,
yes. Well, total
but
access.
they got a lot of insiders that are on Total Access, and what it sounds like they're doing is Total Access is a show that has maybe one uh, regular mainstream host like myself, and then you have the athletes, former athletes, uh, as the contributors. But if it's the football insiders or insiders, it sounds like it's going to be Tom Pelissero or Andrew Siciliano or someone like that. But if you're saying they're no longer with the company,
Right.
that's interesting.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
So I mean, like I said, there's a lot of changes going on with the NFL Network, personnel wise and show wise. So we have to see how this show, The Insiders, is going to work out, and how I think in late August, early September, the new Good Morning Football is going to work out. So
Well, they unless they bought the rights from ESPN or ESPN did buy NFL Network, they have a show called The Insiders. So I don't know how that's going to work. That's a copyright infringement.
I don't know what to tell you.
No, I'm saying that would be interesting.
And let me put it this way. Let me go this route because I was shocked, and I was definitely shocked about this. Okay. Um, and I think I have to talk about this. Not that people want me to talk about it, but it's this is what I do. Okay.
Stir
I,
up controversy.
no, I'm not stirring up any controversy. What I'm saying is this. I'm going to say this. Okay. Be happy in your own skin. Be happy in your own skin, and regardless of what age that you're at, be happy that you've gotten there. Okay? Because life is fleeting. Life is fleeting. You never know what's the last day on this earth is going to be. Okay? So appreciate the people around you and appreciate what you have, regardless of what you have or what you think you should have or don't have. The reason I'm saying this, I'm 70 years old. Okay. I've lost a lot of friends over the course of years that are either were at my age right now would be my age or younger. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was shocked about this. Even though she was on the other side of the aisle, she worked on CNN with a political commentator and a veteran political advisor who has worked on several Republican presidential campaigns, died at age 58. Alice Stewart. Alice Stewart. I don't know if you know who this name is, but she passed away. They found her in her room, passed away. Uh, she suffered a medical episode. I don't have all the details. There was no foul play. Passed away at the age of 58. Understand something. Appreciate the age that you get to because there are other people that have passed away at an earlier age, at the same age, or older. Appreciate what you have when you have it. Uh, that's all I got to say. Okay. And I lost Mr. FSP. I don't know what happened. Hopefully he'll be back. Anyway, he died at age 58, people. 58. I'm at age 70. I appreciate where I'm at. I appreciate every day because you never know what days you're going to be your last day. My mother's going to be 94 in November. Appreciate the way your life has been. I know it may not be exactly like you want it. It may be exactly like you want it, but appreciate those around you and appreciate where you are in your life because it could be you could go to sleep tonight, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, and you be to be the last day on this earth. So appreciate where you're at in your life. That's all I got to say, Mr. FSP. Did you know about Alice
Yeah,
Stewart?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I woke up earlier this morning, and I was on. I normally watch the news before I do anything, and CNN is the channel I watch, and they did a tribute to her at the end of State of the Union, and that's when I learned that she passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and how much she was a friend to the people there on the show, even though she was a very staunch conservative uh, political commentator. Um, they didn't say how she passed or that other information, so I don't know how you got it, but uh, yeah, that was. I mean, it was sad.
Well, it's always sad when someone passes. It's always sad when someone passes. And the fact is, I've watched CNN and I've watched Alice Stewart talk. She told it like it was. Okay. Uh, uh, Being a staunch conservative Republican, quite naturally, her politics didn't agree with mine, but she was honest and supported her party. Okay. Anyway, all right, and let's transition to sports. All right, we talk about fantasy football. I want to talk about first rookies coming into this year, and then later on in the show, I want to talk about vets moving to new teams and how relevant I think they're going to be good and bad, good and bad. Okay, let's start with the rookies. Okay, and I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. Okay, with the number one, I think this guy is going to be a very good player, barring any health issues. That's always the caveat. Barring any health issues, whether it's a rookie coming into this uh, new season for him in the NFL or vets that have moved to new teams, whether they went to free agency or got traded, didn't make a difference. Health is always a big issue. Right now, everybody's healthy for the most part, or coming back from an injury with high expectations, and I'm going to talk about those for now. But let's talk about the number one rookie coming out, in my opinion, and joining the Arizona Cardinals, which would be Marvin Harrison Jr. at 6'3", 205. Great height and weight for a wide receiver. Not like his dad. His dad was a little shorter and definitely lighter. Okay. He looks like the best wide receiver prospect in recent years, and he's a route running specialist capable of chewing up yards post catch. Now, he proved it at Ohio State with 144 catches and 2,474 yards and 28 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons, including in the breakout true sophomore season that ended with a Bolitnikov Award. He's a potential top 5 fantasy asset within a few seasons. Okay. Quite naturally, for the most part, now he's got Kyler Murray, okay, with a new offense, and that he has to get used to. And most wide receivers, and he may be the exception because he's going very high in fantasy drafts at the wide receiver position. To transition to the college to NFL and have a smooth transition. Quite naturally, all these players, whether they're vets, whether they're rookies, are going to have good weeks and bad weeks. For the most part, you're looking for consistency. And this wide receiver had over 1,000 yards with 2 different quarterbacks. Okay? 1,000 yards with 2 different quarterbacks. And was consistent about that. Okay? Great route runner. Yards after catch is big time. And in his sophomore year, like I said, he won the Bolitnikov Award as a top wide receiver in college. Now, this is the NFL, I understand. But he's got the size, 6'3". He's got the 205, which is a solid weight, and he can run every route. Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr., I have it number 1. Mr. FSP, talk to me.
Well, I love the fact that he's going to be with my guy, Kyler Murray, who can put the ball just about anywhere. The one thing I have a problem with Marvin Harrison Jr. is throughout college, his several years in college, he didn't stay healthy.
Okay.
Now, I know one was a concussion based upon a hit to the head, right? But he also had an issue with his hamstrings. He will be a top receiver in the NFL this year. No mistake about it, because he's pretty much the only real target Kyler has outside of his tight ends. Literally, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the guy. There were a few other receivers they drafted, but it's a safe bet to me that fantasy wise, if you get Kyler Murray, I would stack. And I don't know if your listeners know what stacking means, but I would stack Marvin Harrison Jr. with Kyler Murray. That means get a player on the same team that's going to be productive, or you believe is going to be productive, and pair them. So you're pairing players. Some people do quarterback, receiver, running back, and stuff like that. But in this case, I would just do quarterback and receiver uh, because of the abilities of both players.
Okay. All right. The next one is another wide receiver. I'm not too fond. What he's got, more than likely, he's got the same situation as my number one, which is Marvin Harrison. My number two is Malik Neighbors going to the Giants. Who's the
That's the same
Giants?
situation.
Same situation.
Please explain that one. You got me on that one.
Okay, let me explain this. Okay, let me put this down first, and then I'll explain it. Neighbors declare for the draft. They're ranking top 8 nationally in catches and touchdowns per game. The 21 year old. He's got plenty of years. Barring injury, he's got plenty of years. Combines exciting deep chops with angry run after catch ability. After just a few minutes of watching him, you can tell his play speed is on another level. While he passed on the NFL combine testing, Neighbors was never dropping out of the top 10, despite a shaky landing spot. This is a shaky landing spot for Malik Neighbors. He should be able to flourish in New York long term. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay, barring injury. I've always said this, and I'm going to say it again. Where did he go? Where did he go? Barring injury, Malik Neighbors, just like Marvin Harrison, in my opinion, is the only wide receiver show in town. In my opinion, because who do the Giants have that scares the opposition? I'll wait. Okay, I waited long enough. No answers.
Are you asking me, or are you just saying that to be funny?
Well, let me put it this way. I wanted to prove a point, and the point is that he's in the same situation as Marvin Harrison Jr. What does the quarterback have to throw to? Who does he have to throw to that's worth any salt? That's a consistent wide receiver in the Giants' offense. That's what I'm talking about. He's going to be targeted just like Marvin Harrison Jr. early and often. Okay, I understand. The defenses are going to realize that and know that, just like Marvin Harrison Jr. But with the ability of the first two players that I named, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, they have the ability to get open and to work to get open, to get windows for the quarterbacks, Kyler Murray or Daniel Jones or whoever is going to be the quarterback for the Giants, to be a target, to be an open target, or give him an opportunity to make catches. Basically, he's the only show in town, okay, in the wide receivers, because none of these wide receivers, and it was evident the last few years, were scaring the opposition. This is the type of player. And in the draft, people were going back and forth whether Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors was a wide receiver one coming out of here. That's how in my opinion, close these guys' ability are to each other. So my number two player, Malik Neighbors. Talk to me.
I would say strictly as a wide receiver, I can agree with you as far as the situation being the only wide receiver in town. Maybe not, because I like Jalen Hyatt, who was last year's first round pick for them, to blossom in New York. Further, Darren Waller is not retiring from all indications. So that's another weapon to spread the ball to. What I do believe is the quarterback situations are vastly different. And Neighbors is on the short end of the stick on that as far as throwing and ability. I think Kyler is head and shoulders above Daniel Jones in all areas except for height. And I would further believe that because they both are dynamic receivers, Harrison Jr. and Neighbors, that they're going to see doubles
Oh yeah.
often.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure if either are ready or able to, you know, beat the double just yet at such a young age, you know? So
Well,
it's going to be tough sledding for both.
okay. All right. I'm going wide receiver again at number 3. Uh, he was following a breakout season, his sophomore season. Rome Odunze production hit another level in last year. 92 receptions, 1,640 yards, and 13 touchdowns. In fact, he led the nation in receiving yards. Odunze boasts plus size 6'3", 215. Great size in height and weight for a wide receiver and athletic traits, and earned a Larry Fitzgerald comp from NFL Network's Lance Zierlein. Now, his ceiling extends to wide receiver range. He's with the Chicago Bears, along with Keenan Allen, an aging Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore, and a new rookie quarterback. But I say this, but you got a new rookie quarterback coming in. You got a new rookie wide receiver. And I said that twice, but whatever. I think they're in this situation. In this situation, it's a coin flip. The reason why I'm saying this is if it's the coin flip, who's a rookie going to have a kinship with? Let me put it that way in wide receivers. Is he going to favor DJ Moore, who's been on that team for the last season, along with the old quarterback Justin Fields, or is he going to side with the rookie in the same rookie class or drafting class, Roma Dunze, or is he going to go with the old wily vet? I don't know how many years I got left, Keenan Allen. But you can't dispute his ability. I do believe that he's going to supplant one of the vet wide receivers as a favorite target of Caleb Williams. It's just who is it going to be? Whether he's going to supplant Keenan Allen or is he going to supplant DJ Moore? You don't know. You got 3 very good wide receivers. Who's going to be the alpha or 1 or 1A or 1B or 1C? Let me put it that way. Mr. FSP, talk to me.
I think Odunze is in a good position, but he will not produce the type of numbers that we would want him to. I think with what you just said, Allen and Moore being there, DeAndre Swift being there, Odunze, he's probably going to have a pedestrian rookie year. Now, I wouldn't draft him high. I wouldn't draft him to be a active player on my team. He might be a bye week filler because of Moore and Allen. Unless one of those 2 get hurt, I don't think his production is going to be as high or worthy of a number 2 receiver position on any fantasy team.
Okay. All right. And there's a higher percentage that one of these wide receivers get hurt versus staying healthy all year, and that's Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, for the most part, more than likely will get hurt. That's been his resume during an NFL regular season, that he gets hurt and misses some time. So I expect Roma Dunze to take advantage of that. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the next. My number four. Number four. Since 2000, only 5 tight ends have been top 10 draft picks. Brock Bowers almost became the 6th this year following an electric 3-year run at Georgia. A George Kittle clone, who like George Kittle, some people don't. Bowers led the team or tied for the lead in catches, yards, and receiving touchdowns across all 3 seasons. He needed tightrope surgery for a high ankle sprain in 2023, but made a stunning recovery to play only 26 days later. Consider Bowers the safest fantasy prospect in 2024 and in the 24 class. Mr. FSP, Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders. How come you keep going in and out? What's going on?
People are calling me for my birthday, man. My mom and stuff like that. So
okay.
Like I said, 7 o'clock on my time is a lot different than 10 o'clock your time. So I got a lot of stuff going on.
Well, I thought there was some other problem that you were jumping in and out. Don't take offense.
Nah, not yet. My phone is going to die in probably like 20 minutes, but that's about it.
Okay, well, okay. All right. So talk to me. Talk to me about
Bowers.
Yes.
I kind of like his situation. Double tight end sets in not Oakland, in Vegas. They have a couple of solid receivers. I mean, to call Adams solid is stupid, but the problem is if Sullivan's the quarterback, I'm a little worried. But one of the best friends of a young quarterback is the tight end. They just have 2 of them.
Yep.
That can really catch and really play the field. More like Gronk and Hernandez. So I would think, even though Antonio Pierce said they're going to run the rock really hard, when they do throw the ball, it's not going to be Devontae Adams all the time. It's probably going to be to the tight ends. At least that's what I would think. Bowers, even though he is a wonderful talent, because of the situation, I don't know how he'll be used. I really don't.
I think Brock Bowers is going to. Who's the number 2 wide receiver in?
It is Jacoby Myers and my gosh, I forgot the other kid's name, but he's a very talented receiver. Forgot his name.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think Jacoby Myers gets hurt by what Brock Bowers comes to the team. I really believe that. I think Brock Bowers is going to take up, I wouldn't say a lot, but it's going to cut into the type of targets Jacoby Myers gets. I do believe that. He's a safe target, middle of the field, a young quarterback's best friend, and Jacoby Myers did a lot of that work. But this tight end is going to 2 double tight end sets. You got Michael Myers or whatever his name is.
Mayers.
Mayers. I'm sorry. And you got Brock Bowers. So you got to believe that quarterback is going to be thrown to his tight ends a lot. It's just a matter of who is going to fit into the favorite target, the tight end favorite target for the quarterback. All right, let's move on. Number 5. Number 5 is I talked about this guy several times. Now, with Bijan Robinson in the pros, Jonathan Brooks at number 5, time to shine arrived in 2023, and he did ranking top 10 nationally in yards after contact per attempt. He proved explosive as a pass catcher. Just one problem: Brooks' season ended with a November ACL tear, putting his availability now with a clean tear. There's no other ligaments. It was just the ACL. putting his availability in question for week 1. Long term, he projects as a multi-year running back one. Mr. FSP, talk to me about Johnson Brooks.
Remind me what team he went to.
Say again?
Remind me what team he went to. Who selected him?
Carolina.
Oh. Now, Carolina invested heavily in their offensive line. And he's going to probably split a little time with Chuba Hubbard. I don't believe Miles. Miles is there because he just signed a multi-year contract. I think he can outplay Miles, but I think he's going to split time with Chuba. So I'm not expecting big things from him, especially coming off an ACL tear. But he stands a chance at making a little noise. I think he's one of those players that you pick up off waivers. I don't think you draft him.
Okay. My number 6 guy. We're going to go these pretty quickly now. My number 6 guy. I predicted this guy to go to this team. Coming out of the combine, the first team I thought about was the Kansas City Chiefs. I expressed this on this show. I expressed it on the Fantasy Sports and Politics show. I expressed it a lot that this player, Xavier Worthy, was the perfect candidate to go to the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's exactly where he got, and he's at number 6. Let me put it this way. 4-2-1. The slender speedster remained productive over the past 2 seasons while catching passes from a potential round 1 quarterback in the 2025 draft, which is Quinn Everett. He then broke the record for the fastest 40 time at the NFL Combine at 4.21. You couldn't ask for a better landing spot than the Kansas City Chiefs. I expressed this. I'm excited about this player. It's a big play waiting to happen with a big play quarterback who's throwing the football. He's teamed up with now this team has a lot of speed on the outside with Marquise Brown and with Xavier Worthy paired up with Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield and Travis Kelce in the middle of the field. This is a potentially explosive offense compared to what most people thought was going to Kansas City was going to take a step back. Last season, they took a huge step forward with the acquisition of a veteran in Marquise Brown and this rookie Isaiah Worthy. Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
The speed of this kid, the fact that Rashee Rice most likely will not be there for extended period of time. This is a guy. And I believe he has better hands than Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore, that could really make some noise. Now, if I'm not mistaken, his Texas partner got selected by the Chiefs as well, who had better numbers than him in college. So that's the guy I'm looking at as having the big numbers. But I think Worthy will have good numbers. I just think his Texas receiving partner will have bigger numbers because he's a bigger body guy. He's also a speed guy, and he also has solid hands.
You're talking about Don Mitchell, and I heard some negative things about he may not be the coachable type.
But you were all on him during the draft, bro. What happened? Where did you hear this information?
I read about it yesterday. In fact, I read about it yesterday. That's why the one of the things that he dropped. He may have an attitude. He may be an attitude issue. That's one. That's what. In fact, I think what I read, what I heard is that's one of the things they thought he would go higher, but the Buffalo Bills passed on it because They didn't want another Stephon Diggs. They didn't want another attitude guy. So that's why they picked up Keon Mitchell. Okay, that's why they picked up. That's why they Keon Coleman. I'm sorry. That's why they picked up Keon Coleman because he had a better personality. And,
Okay.
and what didn't have that diva type issues. Okay, so I mean, is a good wide receiver, but you got to be able to be coached and not have a diva attitude. Let me put it that way. And they didn't want the repeat of that coming into their team. So better personality, obviously, because he became a darling, instant darling of the media in Keon Coleman. But I'll talk about him a little later. Number 7 is another wide receiver coming out of LSU. Malik Neighbors' running mate is Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Played alongside quarterback Jane Daniels and wide receiver Malik Neighbors. Thomas enjoyed a third-year breakout. He led LSU in touchdowns in 2023, which was 17, and nearly matched Neighbors in yards per catch, which is 17-3 was Neighbors and 17-6. I mean, 17-3 was Thomas Jr. and 17-6 was Neighbors. Thomas is a long strider at 6'2", nice size, and also weight 209 pounds and tracks the ball like a veteran. He also brings desirable NFL athleticism at 4.34 and a 38.5-inch vertical. Jacksonville gives him a shot to eventually develop into the number one target for Trevor Lawrence. Talk to me quickly about Mr. Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr., big body, straight speed. He's not going to be – he's a one-trick pony. That's why he dropped to where he dropped. Okay. Decent hands, but not a real number one. But he'll be number 2 anyway to Christian Kirk. But he'll be the only healthy receiver in that locker room. So we'll see.
All right, number 8. Some people think he should be higher, but I think number 8 is probably a good spot for him. Caleb Williams, last big-time arm talent after taking over the start.
Caleb, bro, not Khalib. Caleb.
Okay, Caleb. Thank you. Caleb Williams, flashed big-time arm talent after taking over the starting gig at Oklahoma. He then followed Lincoln Riley to USC and dazzled with Mahomes-like ability en route to winning the 2022 Heisman. Williams took a step back in 2023, but consider now, and I'll say this before or after, but consider the unreachable bar he set as a true sophomore and a weakened supporting cast, missing wide receiver Jordan Addison with 3 career runs of 40+ 5 yards. Williams also brings the athleticism to tally his fantasy relevancy. And he's going to have, like I said earlier, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze makes the first year of Caleb Williams a fantasy year one factor. Talk to me, Mr. FSP. Mr. Williams, quarterback, Chicago Bears.
I think he's going to throw for 3,500 to 4,000 yards.
40,000, okay.
I think he's going to have a lot of interceptions, though. I think he's going to have a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
Because of the way he is
taking a lot of chances.
Yeah, it takes a lot of chances with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, I think he'll have probably 20 some odd touchdowns. He'll be like a 30 for 30. I think he'll be Jameis Winston 30 for 30.
Okay.
Something like that. Maybe not 30 for 30, but
mixed bag. It'd be a mixed bag you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's going to be enough for fantasy owners to want to keep him, but the fantasy owners are going to have to think about, okay, am I starting him this week? Or is he going to be my backup and my bye week guy? So I think because of his history, that's what you got. He'll get drafted. He'll get drafted fantasy-wise for sure.
At number 9, one of your favorite players, I want to name it, and I know what you're going to say, but that's okay. At number 9, He spent the first 2 seasons at Michigan State, even garnering a spot on the basketball team. After a 2022 breakout, which he had 58 catches, 798 yards, and 7 touchdowns, Keon Coleman at number 9 transferred to FSU in 2023 despite disappearing in some games, he remained a scoring machine, a 22% touchdown rate at an imposing 6'4", 215. Coleman's not a burner, but sports a skill set similar to T. Higgins. Consider him an enticing matchup for playmaking quarterback Josh Allen. At number 9, not one of my favorites, but I got to put him up there because with the loss of Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, he's going to be. I wouldn't say a target monster, but he's going to get targeted a lot because at 6'4", 215, I would like throwing to him, especially from Josh Allen. Talk to me about one of your favorite players in the rookie season, Mr. Keon Coleman.
I will say he's probably going to be the 3rd rookie wide receiver taken, and further stack him with Josh.
Okay.
Because just exactly what you said. Gabe's gone. Stephon's gone. That leaves not newcomer, but Curtis Samuel. The other receiver, can't remember names. It begins with an S, but he's a short guy, and he's more of a slot guy.
Khalil Shakir. And
Shakira. There you go. Shakira.
He's the big play wide receiver. So
yeah. But he's not a big guy.
No, definitely
so that's
not.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you got a bunch of small guys along with Knox and what's the other tight end they got last year from Utah?
Dalton Kincaid.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
no, you fantasy players, man.
Hey, look, guy, I know them. I just don't have them tip of my tongue because you can't even pronounce Caleb. So don't even talk now.
Well, people knew what I was talking about,
and people knew who I was talking about as well. So anyway, I like the stacking.
Cat fight. Go ahead.
I know you want to fight, but yeah, Caleb, not Caleb. I like this kid. I would say whoever grabs Josh should find a way to get him, and they probably will because I believe he's going to get out of those 160 targets between, or 170 targets between Davis and Diggs.
No, that's over 200. That's over 200.
Or over 200 targets that was going to those two?
Yes.
He's going to get at least 110 of those.
Yeah, at least. Oh, yeah, I would say he's going to get at least those. If I would say probably 20 or 30 more. At least 20 or 30 more.
And that's why, I like using your saying, targets equal opportunity.
Yep.
And that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
He's going to have a lot of opportunities.
Speaking of targets, Keenan Allen's gone. Mike Williams is gone. My number 10 went to the LA Chargers. Now, when I say number 10, and when you hear number 11, you're going to say, how can you put this guy over the other guy? But we'll go to number 10 first. Lad McConkey enters the league as a polished route runner with excellent short area quickness. He missed time in 2023 with a back and ankle injuries, but carries no lingering durability issues to the pros. McConkey also stood out at the Senior Bowl practice. The ceiling might not be too high for fantasy, but this day 2 pick should deliver immediate PPR value in LA. Talk to me quickly about Mr. Lad McConkey.
Mr. Consistency. That's what they got.
Okay.
Mr. Consistency. He's going to be the safety blanket for Herbert when they do throw the ball. I love it. He's going to be a sneaky fantasy pickup.
Okay. Speaking at number 11, okay, quarterback out of Washington, a rookie coming in, has drawn comparisons to Lamar Jackson. Pop on some games, and it's easy to see why. slender at 6'4", 210, which is not, to me, that's not bad. 6'4", 210. Daniels can operate inside and outside the pocket. He's a nightmare in the open field with 3,307 career rushing yards and 34 rushing touchdowns. That's a lot, man. That's scary. That's scary. His breakthrough as a passer came in 2023, his fifth college season, but was an exceptional Heisman winning campaign. Daniel carries quarterback one upside right away in Washington. I'm loving this kid. Okay. I think he's going to be an outstanding quarterback, dual threat quarterback. I do believe they're going to try to put some more weight on him, which is fine because I think he can carry the weight at 6'4". He did a lot of his damage. Now, understand this, people. Unlike Josh Allen, unlike Lamar Jackson.
Very much like Lamar, bro. But go ahead.
Wait a minute. No. Just listen to what I have to say, please, before you interrupt.
I mean, I was just following what you've done in the past, but you're right. I should listen.
Thank you. Unlike Lamar Jackson, unlike Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels did a lot of damage in college from the pocket. From the pocket. The majority, I think he threw like 30 plus touchdowns from the pocket. Okay, this last season. Versus, he can run, and he knows he can run, and every defense knows he can run. But he did a lot of his damage throwing the football and creating touchdowns down the field from the pocket. And a side piece, I hate to say it like that, but the side piece was him running the football. Okay? And that's unlike Lamar Jackson and unlike Josh Allen. Josh Allen likes to run a lot, and so does Lamar Jackson. This kid is they compare him to Lamar Jackson, and I can understand why. But he's not the same type of runner as Lamar Jackson. He can run when he needs to, but he does his damage a lot from the pocket. It's not run first like Lamar Jackson for the most part, or Josh Allen like for the most part. It's stay in the pocket and deliver the football. And then if you have to, run. I'm liking this kid a lot. I said yesterday, and I'm going to say it again today. First few games, probably halfway through the season, he's going to struggle. He's going to struggle against good defenses. Okay? Just like we talked about Williams. Going to struggle. But this kid, once he gets it, other teams are going to get it from him. That's what I'm saying. The quarterback and the offensive line and the offensive players have to get used to each other. It's going to take time, along with a new offensive coordinator. It's going to take time. How much time? We don't know. But I'm loving this kid, and I think he went to a very, 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 very good situation with a new coach, even though I don't like the coach, a new offensive coordinator, which I do like the offensive coordinator, even though he puts his quarterbacks in bad situations. But I like his creativity within the offense and for the quarterback that he has in Cliff Kingsbury. Mr. FSP, I know you want to talk about this guy. Talk to me about Jaden Daniels at number 11.
Well, first of all, you're right. I am going to question why you have him behind Lad McConkey and a whole bunch of other people. But I'm not going to go down that road. I will just say that Jaden Daniels, I was not a fan of his during the Heisman Trophy race because I thought Michael Penix Jr. was the better quarterback in college last year. Okay. After further study and further consideration, he is a more refined, as you stated, Lamar Jackson. The guy can throw the ball. Not only does he run it really well, but he throws extremely well. It doesn't hurt to have Malik Neighbors as your number one and Mitchell as your number two.
Thomas,
I'm sorry, as your number two. But uh, in the NFL, it's going to be a little different. He's going to end up running first year a lot, but hopefully, as you said, they'll put some weight on him, and uh, he'll use that pocket and the run game and draws and screens more effectively to stay healthy. Uh, Randall Cunningham is the comparison I keep using because that's who his former coach Herm Edwards uh, used as a comparison, and that says a lot, especially in this day and age. If Randall Cunningham was playing now, he would be better than half the quarterbacks in the NFL. So as a rookie, I expect him, Jaden Daniels, to be drafted fantasy wise, uh, probably around or shortly after Caleb Williams. Because both, I believe, will be drafted in fantasy drafts. It just depends on what people have them as their number two, or are they going to go all out with other positions and try to go number one with them?
Okay. Well, I got to believe this. Okay. And there's another positive that I like about this kid. He's got a lot more experience than most of these quarterbacks coming in. He's a fifth year college. This was his fifth college season. So he has an extra year to learn a position versus these other players that come out in college. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That's to me, that's definitely a positive. That's a positive. To me, that's telling me he's got more experience. He's seen a little bit more, and dealt with a little bit more adversity, quite naturally, being in the fifth season, and that should be able to get him to transition into the NFL a lot smoother than some of these quarterbacks that got drafted early or in the first round. So I'm really liking Jaden Daniels. I'm looking forward to watching him play. Not against my Cleveland Browns, but I'm looking forward.
Of course not. But you're gonna lose a Benjamin, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Just remember, just for the record, remember what I said yesterday. Okay, that's all I got to say.
You can damn the torpedoes and all that.
Full speed ahead. Anyway, let's move on to the next player, which is a wide receiver out of Florida going to the San Francisco 49ers. I think this was done in anticipation of losing one of their main wide receivers in either Deebo Samuels or Brandon Ayuk. He adds to the core group of pass catchers in San Francisco. I'm talking about number 12, Ricky Pearsall. Pearsall was a leading receiver for Jaden Daniels at Arizona State, and he played his fourth and fifth college season at Florida, setting career highs in catches and yards this past fall. Catches 65 and yards at 965 yards. Pearsall brings adequate size at 6'1", 190 pounds. That tells me he's a slot receiver or a special teams player, and tested as an excellent athlete at the NFL Combine. A surprise round one pick. Pearsall likely needs one of Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk off the team to gain consistent value. That's exactly what I said before. And Mr. FSB talked to me about Mr. Ricky Pearsall.
Not draftable.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's the bottom line. I don't think he's draftable at this point, especially if Ayuk doesn't go anywhere. He's the number 3 receiver in a run first system, and he would probably be number 4 option in the passing game behind George Kittle.
Okay. Let me I'm going to go to number 13, and then I'm going to say some also eligibles. Let me put it that way, or whatever about going further down the line, and I'll just pick some guys that I like, and not necessarily in whatever order. Let's go number 13, because I talked about 2 running backs that I love coming into the NFL draft. I talked about those running back going to ideal situations. I already talked about Jonathan Brooks going to Carolina, which was a good situation. I'm not loving it because Carolina's offensive line is questionable, even though they did things to try to improve it. But just like we talked earlier, Jonathan Brooks may be in for a committee, depending on how he responds from his ACL. But this other running back went to an ideal position, soon to be the number one running back coming out of the Arizona Cardinals. I have him at number 13, and I had to put him in here because I talked about him earlier. So I got to be consistent talking about Trey Benson. Okay? He started his career in 2020 at Oregon with a knee ligament tear. Then he transferred to Florida State in 2022. He's 6 feet, 216 pounds. Perfect weight. Oh, my God. I love this guy. Showcased an ideal blend of power and speed that carried over to the combine, where he posted an elite 9.78 relative athletic score. He'll enter the league with plenty of tread on the tires after tallying 156 and 154 carries over the past 2 seasons. He hasn't been dogged out, as in over 200 or close to 300 or over 300 carries. He's got a little over 300 carries in 2 seasons. Benton projects as a 2-down thumper, but James Conner, I think this is the last year. James Conner, if I'm not mistaken, will be 30 years old next season, and also has not completed a full year. He's missed games every year that he's been in the league. Every year. People, I'm telling you this now. I'm telling you this now. Okay? You have to, I don't care how you do it, but he has to be drafted. He's going to get some play time because the starting running back in front of him is going to get hurt. That is his history. And this kid is a 3-down back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he damn sure can run the football. I don't care what you do. This is one of these guys that you have to put on your team. You put him on the bench and just sit and wait, because James Conner is going to get hurt. That's it. That's not an if. That's when. That's when he gets hurt. This kid, I had to put him in here. He's not number 13 on my list, but and I wanted to only go to 12, but I had to go to this kid because he's worth mentioning. I like Jonathan Brooks, but he's coming off an ACL. Trey Benson is lightly used and can be a 3-down back. He's proved he can catch the football and run the football. And he's in an ideal situation. I talked about this before. Ideal situation for these rookie running backs, not worthy of a round 1 pick in the draft, but are going to be fantasy relevant. I told you this before, and I'm going to tell you again. I said these guys are going to be fantasy relevant. I gave you 2. I gave you a third one about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Garendo going to Christian McCaffrey's team, the San Francisco 49ers. I gave you 3 of them. I said at least 5. I'm saving the other two for a different time, but these guys are going to be relevant. Garendo, and not necessarily in this order. Garendo from San Francisco, Brooks from Carolina, Benson at Arizona. Mr. FSP, talk to me about Trey Benson. Where'd he go? Okay, people. I got to go. All right. There's other players that I want to talk about here. J.J. McCarthy, Adon Mitchell to Indianapolis, Malaki Corley. Okay. I wanted to talk about them, but I would relatively say I'm short on time. I am short on time. So next week, I'm going to talk about players. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to display. This show is not going to be that long. Okay. But the next week's show is going to be longer. I'm going to be doing a 5 mock draft and also talking about players that I see are going to be fantasy relevant veterans that are going to be fantasy relevant, whether they went to a new team or they've had major changes on their team and they're going to be fantasy relevant. With that being said, I want to thank Mr. FSP for joining me. I don't know what happened, but I want to thank him for joining me and giving him his insight. Tune in next week, Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. on a Sunday. I'll be back here. I promise I'll be back here talking about fantasy football. And I wish you well. Enjoy the weekend. The rest of the weekend. The beautiful day out. It's a nice sunny day. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy the week. And like I said, we'll be back here on Facebook, YouTube, and X, formerly of Twitter, to talk about fantasy football. I'm AJT. I am JT, aka the Master, and we are going to sign off and wish you well. Be well, and we'll see you. Take care. Peace.